2025. So every year, I start this process. It starts, I'm going to say, in the fall at some point in time, and I just start sensing and feeling for me, what do I want to do? I got a brand new year coming up, and I'm just like you on my own process, in my own process of awakening and unfolding. And I start to just tune into what I think and feel like the year is going to be bringing, because I just feel like all of us have something, and because of who and what I am, I like to share that with everybody. So in case people out there are wanting to do just a little bit of a deeper dive. So in other words, yeah, sure, you can come here and hang out on Sundays. That's cool. I'm glad you're here. We're glad you're here. But if some of you, because I talk to you, actually want to do something a little bit deeper and go a little bit further. And so I always love to have a thought or an idea of, well, how about those people that would really like to do that? Why not come up with a theme? So for many of you that have been following for the last 3 years, we've been doing that. So 2 years ago, I did the medicine wheel the entire year. We talked about that. Last year, I did this thing or this concept of the calling, and we spent a whole year talking about what that may look like. And then I was kind of contemplating, well, okay, what's 2025 going to look like? And originally that thought was abundance. And so I started sharing that with a few people, and it was feeling pretty good. Not bad. That's kind of a cool theme to have for a year, thinking about concentrating on abundance. And the more I kept processing it and thinking about it, it was like, it was really close, but it was just off. You ever feel that energetically where it's like, yeah, you're almost there, Mike, you're almost there, but not quite. And as I sat there and I was like, no, we need something a little bit more, all of a sudden I was like, well, wait a minute. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, this feels so much better. So the theme for 2025, for those of you who would like to go a little bit deeper and join me on this journey, because this is and will be a year-long journey. So in other words, I'm going to be speaking about this a couple of times every quarter, and we're going to be talking about that this morning. But for those of you who would like to follow along and think it would be pretty cool, this year is Manifestation Mastery, the art and the practice of manifestation. This fires me up. This gets me excited. This actually, in my own belief, is really, when you look at all of the stuff that the Fillmores have done, and certainly all of the great teachers have taught some, it's not their entire teaching, but certainly part of their teaching, is that you are divine and you are powerful, and therefore you can do stuff about your reality. So in other words, we don't have to stay over here in victim mode. Actually, we can step over here into powerful creator mode. And for those of you that follow me on a regular basis, I talk about this all the time. But I thought this year would be super fun to actually talk about it. Because at the heart, again, of the unity teachings is, one of them is our ability to manifest, right? We are manifesting machines. So it's not a matter of, well, geez, Mike, that sounds great, but what do I do with that? So then it becomes a question of, it's not a question of, are you a manifesting machine or not? You are a manifesting machine. Why are you a manifesting machine? Because of who and what you are. Who are you? You're divine. And you're powerful. And we just have forgotten that. And so what happens is we forget it, and then we think, well, it sounds good. Everything that you're saying, okay, but I'm not 100% sure. But the only thing is that we're not doing it consciously. So it's not a matter of, are you doing it, or are you a manifesting machine? You are. You are officially knighted. You're a manifesting machine. But the question is, are you doing it consciously or not? Are you choosing what it is that you want to manifest? Well, that's an interesting premise, isn't it? And is this at the heart of what this new thought is? This idea that maybe, just maybe, we're bigger, we're broader, we're stronger, we're more than what we've been taught to believe throughout our entire lifetimes and throughout the last, well, at least 2,000 years. Maybe we're more, though. Maybe we really are connected to the divine. Maybe you are pretty powerful beyond your wildest imagination. Maybe, just maybe, we've been told some garbage that isn't necessarily true about who and what we are. And maybe, just maybe, there's something you can do about that, right? In the book Heart-Centered Metaphysics, it says, demonstration is always occurring whether results are liked or not. Doesn't that suck? Honestly, when something shows up in your life and you're like, ah, I didn't do that, right? Therefore, conscious demonstration is the goal, and I'm going to focus on that. Conscious demonstration. I love that. Conscious demonstration. Because to me, my mind just goes, oh, that's so fun. And I want to bring up the word or the idea of demonstration and manifestation because in unity, what most people don't realize is, truthfully, when you start studying unity principles, they flip those two words around all the time. For me, the word, I don't know about you, and I'm just kind of curious, how many people can relate to demonstration more than they can manifestation? I'm just curious by a show of hands. Just a few. I don't know, there's something about demonstration because here's my observation, here's my own journey, if you will. So I come into unity and I hear about all this stuff and I start practicing it, and I'm working on doing a lot of manifestation. There's not a lot coming out the other side of the tube, so to speak, right? And so it's great. So I'm practicing this stuff, but the truth is there's not a lot of demonstration. And I'm to the point where, because I'm I consider blessed, and to actually stick around, and actually even when it didn't work, I kept going. You know my story, most of you do. But my point is that even when it wasn't working, I kept moving forward, believing that there was something more that maybe I just couldn't see. And so I kept trying, and I kept trying, and I kept trying, and I kept trying. And then all of a sudden, guess what? Things started happening in my life. And I mean, like, happening. Oh, I don't know, this happened in my life. And so many other things. I met my wife. A lot of things have happened in my life. And so what's happening is I'm going from this idea of focusing on the word manifestation, but now I love conscious demonstration. I love that. And so that's what we're going to be focusing on. Consciously demonstrating these tools and principles that we talk about in unity to actually manifest something in our life. So for those of you who want to join me this year, in a little bit, what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through a very short meditation, and I just want you to think about what's going on right now in 2025, and what would be really fun to think about manifesting, or demonstrating, right? So I want you to think about that as we start to talk about it a little bit, but just understand it doesn't necessarily need to be I want $1 million, right? Everybody does. But my point is I don't know, is it physical? Is it mental? Is it emotional? Is it spiritual? Is it to grow closer to God? Is it grow closer to your partner or your spouse? Is it to lose 50 pounds? Is it to make $1 million? I don't know. I just have a suggestion or two. Whatever it is that you pick, don't make it so massively huge that there's no way on God's green earth you can actually sit there and go, yeah, I can see that happening. For example, I want to make $1 million this year when you've never made more than $50,000 your entire life. There's something called starting line goals or manifestations or demonstrations, and then there's something called finishing line. Starting lines are like, hey, let's start to move towards this and see if I can do this and play with this and have fun with it, because if we're not having fun, we're not going to do it here. But move into something that's more within your reach. But yet something like in your heart, in your soul is really saying, oh my God, it would feel so good if I were to do that, right? And so we're going to walk you through that. So again, this is going to be our yearly theme, Manifestation Mastery, the art and practice of manifestation, or bingo, demonstration. Thank you. People are listening. Thank God I got the right crowd. Good. And really, if you think about it from a unity perspective, well, I'm just kind of curious. How many people have heard this before in unity? We are co-creators with God, creating our reality through our thoughts held in mind. How many people have heard that? Yeah. Thank you, unity people. And even thank you, non-unity people. Right? Where does that come from? The 5 principles. Right? So this is actually, unity has 5 principles. I think we have much more. But we talk about the 5. This is number 3 of the 5 principles. So we believe that. Totally. That's within our wheelhouse, right? What did Fillmore say, Charles? God's greatest gift to man or woman is the power of thought. Power of the mind. I'm going to add a little bit more to it. I'm going to say you got to combine that with emotions, because if you don't have emotions tied into what you're thinking, That's going to be a hard one because you need them both. You need them both. You got to connect them both, right? The mind is a powerful thing. And I couldn't help it. I just love the slide, so I had to put it up there. So there you go. I just love that. Wow. But the only thing is I wished it was connected to the heart, kind of have a mind-heart connection thing. Anyways, the point is this, is that you can honestly do something. You can actually use these spiritual tools and techniques to have something show up in your life, create something in your life. Consciously start creating your life versus unconsciously just kind of meandering through life and things kind of fall where they want, right? Our thoughts are powerful. In the way of the mastery, it said, all fields of thought then, in a sense, wash up to the shorelines of your being. You elect what influences will enter into your sphere. Some of those will pass through, and some you will begin to become identified with. In other words, we actually start believing some of the stuff that we're told that isn't exactly true. It goes on to say, you will take them on as your own thought. You'll form an agreement with the nature of that thought. You'll value that thought, and therefore you will create experiences that flow from your agreement with that thought. It's another fancy way of saying what? We start to hear the stuff, we start to believe the stuff that we were programmed into believing, and then all of a sudden, guess what? We start acting like it, we start talking like it, we start believing it, and unfortunately for most of us, me included, that wasn't very true and or nice when I was younger, just the way that it was, right? So again, I look at this, and I love this. You'll value the thought, and therefore you'll create the experiences that flow from your agreement, your agreement, your agreement. I'm going to say that 50 times, and the reason I wanted to emphasize this is because you made an agreement to buy into that thought. Guess what? Change the agreement. Change the agreement. You can do it right now, that quick. You can. Unless, of course, you tell yourself you can't, right? So you can change it. Change your agreement. So, over the course of the next year, we're going to be having some fun with manifestation or demonstration, right? And we're going to be going deep into different areas of it, the tools, the practices, everything else, this idea, right? And we're going to have quarterly themes. So, the first quarterly theme that I'm going to be starting next week, and it's going to go for 2 weeks, is going to be your toolbox. Wouldn't it be nice if you can actually do this to know, well, okay, how do I do that? We're going to talk about that. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to pull out all the tools in the toolbox and set them out so you can see what you can play with, right? And again, I'm just going to tell you that everybody does it a little bit differently. So I'm going to give you the broad thing, and then what we're going to do is we are going to start dancing into this idea of you designing your own blueprint or your own way that you approach it. Why? Because I'm going to do it differently than you do it. And you're going to do it differently than everybody else does it. And everyone's going to do it a little bit differently. So I want you to imagine it's like you're walking into a smorgasbord and you walk up and you see all this food, right? And some of us are going to walk over here and we're going to pick at this, and then you're going to walk away and you're going to go, wow, that's great. It feels good. I love it. It tastes good. Yummy, 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 yummy. And you're going to leave the rest of it alone. And then somebody's going to walk over here and go, ooh, I like that. Give me some of this, give me some of this, give me some of this. And this is what I really like. Folks, there's no difference between you going to a smorgasbord and picking out what you like and your own journey. There is no right way or wrong way to do it. Everybody has their own way. Everybody does. And yet, for some reason, we've been programmed to believe that the way that we do it isn't the right way, or hold on, I've got the book of 1,000 rules and you've got to follow the book of 1,000 rules. There are no rules. The only rule is follow your heart. Follow what's inside of you. Let your heart be your guide. And then we each get to do it in our own way, and it's going to be a little bit different for all of us. That's how that works, right? The third quarter is going to be your manifestation mindset. Some of you know the story, some of you don't. When I was 19 years old, somebody handed me the book, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Anybody ever read that book? There's a few. Anyways, I was on fire. I sat there and thought, oh my God, my mind, it can do amazing things. I'm going to go create all this stuff. So I set it off in my mind, and I said I was going to be a millionaire by the time I was 25 years old. Guess what happened when I turned 25 years old? Goose egg. that didn't quite happen. And I was kind of sitting there going like, why? Like I was doing everything that I was taught. I was doing my affirmations. I was doing my prayers. I was taking action. I had a big vision. I did all of the things. And so I really tried to figure out why. If like I'm applying these tools and it's not working in my life, anybody ever do that? Anybody ever take some affirmations, work on something and not show up in your life? Anybody who's tried it that's not raising your hand is lying. So I just want to tell you that, right? So it's like, why? And then all of a sudden, what I've come to realize is that having a manifestation mindset is different. You think differently, period. End of story. You do think differently than I did. I thought the old way, and I thought I could take my old thinking and apply it to what I was trying to do. But guess what? I'm sitting there thinking about $20 million. I'm like, I can't make that much money. I've never made that much money in my life. Who's going to pay me that much money? Where's it going to come from? Am I going to hit the lotto? My point was, my old thinking needed to be cleaned up. And so we're going to spend some time talking about the manifestation mindset. And then the fourth quarter, we're going to talk about barriers. Generally speaking, there's a reason why, if you're really genuinely putting in the work, if you've really set this thing up, if you've really taken a methodical approach to manifestation and it's not showing up, there's probably something blocking it. Wouldn't you like to have some just general ideas on why it's not showing up? Just general ideas that might guide you to help you find out, well, where's the block? Why is this not showing up? What am I doing to prevent this from happening? And so we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about that. So that is what we're going to be doing this year. How does that sound? Cool? Yeah, I'm excited. And again, this might not be for everybody, and that's cool. Don't worry about it. We still are going to come here and talk about God. We're still going to talk about your divinity. We're going to still talk about how amazing you are and how incredible you are and all those other things.
Hey, it's Reverend Mike here. I just wanted to stop for a moment before you get on with your day and thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. It means the world to us, and I just wanted to let you know if there's anything that we can do to make your experience even better, please do not hesitate to reach out by going to our website. I also wanted to offer you the opportunity for us to get together and sit down so I could get to know you a little bit better and answer any questions that you have. I can either do that by either getting together in person, have a cup of coffee, or we can meet online via Zoom. If you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach me at michael@courage2thrive.com. And lastly, if you find these messages are helping you, we would be tremendously grateful if you'd consider donating to the center. The best and the easiest way to do that is simple. Just go to our website. Again, thank you so much. Hope you have a great day. Hope you're doing well. God bless, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye now.